you be the lead, but I'm probably going to mostly ask you questions.
That's totally fun. I've got the controller today, for what it's worth, and I love the PlayStation startup sound.
Are we officially...
This is started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you didn't say hello to the viewers.
This is a game from Spaz. Hello, viewers. A lot of people don't know what company this is.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of them outside of this.
And the other company involved in this is Treasure, which is, have you ever played a game where there was a boss made of balls ever? It was a Treasure game.
And they have extrasensory perception.
Yeah, also ESP. So this is going to be kind of a little bit of a removal from what we've been doing on the channel, where we've been doing popkas, and it's been every single day. And I think what I'm going to wind up doing, and I'm going to move the mic real quick, so if you guys hear it, that's what's going on. I think what this is going to be is probably every other day. It's probably going to be 10 minutes, maybe 15 if this drags on really long. This is one of my favorite games from my childhood. This is a Treasure game. It is a side-scroller, and there's a lot of movement required. So I'm going to do my best. We're going to do our best here to actually give commentary to this game. But this is one of those games where I'm really going to have to focus on playing it.
It's hard.
It's a pretty difficult game if you don't know what you're doing. I've beaten the game once, at the very least, so... Like
yesterday?
Well, as a kid, I could never get past, like, level 2, because I didn't realize that this game is, like, hard as balls.
Yeah, well, you were a kid.
Yeah, there's that, too. Also, there's still a bunch of systems that I don't entirely understand, and for some strange reason, like, Game FAQs has 3 FAQs, and none of them, like, explain the actual systems in the game.
It's a very obscure game.
I guess it's a kind of obscure game. A lot of people will talk about this game in hushed sort of voices as being like a hidden gem on the PS1. I think I'd agree, honestly. I really do like this game. And this anime opening is fucking amazing.
I love that it's in, like, this hard-edged pixel style, like they made this on, like, an old, like, an Amiga computer or something.
Yeah. So here comes the title card, assuming that the game doesn't crash.
It's not gonna crash. Your computer might.
No, my computer's not gonna crash.
I shouldn't have said that, now you'll be worried.
Silhouette Mirage. Reprogrammed Hope, I think, is just the title that they slapped on, because it's the PS1 version as opposed to, I believe the original was a Saturn game, if I'm not mistaken.
Which explains part of why it's obscure.
It's gonna restart its stuff. I need to hit start. Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
Well, we can watch that whole thing again.
Yeah, I'd rather not watch the whole thing. It starts with the logos come in, too.
I don't know. It just does.
Oh, that's great. Oh, Jesus. So, I'm going to run through the tutorial.
Yep.
That plus this is, oh shoot, if I hit load game, that
Well, you're starting
work.
in... What are you trying to do?
You know what? No, I'll just start a new file. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Project initialized.
So, we'll go ahead and start a new file. I'm going to be saving over my old one that has beaten...
And it only gives you one, huh?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's an old game.
It's a real old game, in all fairness.
Saturn's... Is the Sega Saturn a disc system?
I believe the Sega Saturn was indeed a disc system, yes.
Well, this was still early enough that they were still getting to, like, used to the idea of save slots, probably.
Okay, so there's some voice acting in this game, but it's not very much. Most of what is going to be in here is just going to be written word over the screen.
Should we read it out in funny voices?
I don't know if we should read it out in funny voices. I think that might get tiring after a bit.
The viewers can pause if they really want to look at stuff and not hear us.
Yeah, so we're still obviously going to talk over at least part of this. Probably more over the dialogue than anything else.
Yeah.
But it's good to at least notice if there's some stuff going on that maybe we should be paying attention.
Yep.
So this is a computer, like, discussing what's going on, and now they've asked the main character to explain herself, and she was created to be a messenger of justice to safeguard the Edo system. And if it falls, bringing chaos into the world, she's to find and repair the source of the failure.
And it doesn't really get any more specific than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does as you play through. It kind of explains some stuff a little bit better.
I think that this takes place in a computer world, but I'm not sure.
I don't think it does.
Okay.
Honestly, like, I've beaten through the game, so I can tell you 100% it doesn't. But
okay.
It takes place in a world where technology is very blurred with reality. So she lost a portion of her memory during her suspension. She doesn't know where to find Edo and requires assistance.
And this isn't a sequel. That's just how it is. Like, there's just some backstory where she was, like, in a frozen thing or whatever, maybe?
And then we have the, this thing. This is a Gehenna. Gehenna is kind of like your Navi. Like, she's just going to tell you everything about what's going on and will attempt to assist you.
And she's made of wings.
Yeah, she is made of wings.
I think she's our hat.
I don't know if she's your hat.
Yeah, no.
So, long-range non-verbal communication.
She talks in your head, I guess?
Yep. So she's telling you about techniques lost during suspension can be relearned via practice mode. So I'm going to do this just so that we have a general idea of what's going on in this game.
You can probably jam through the actual descriptions and just
Truth
show...
be told, I probably could.
Yeah,
But
you can just show the moves.
the first episode of this series is probably going to be like 15 minutes long, because I'm going to feel bad if the first episode is just us talking over that anime cutscene and then an explanation of this stuff and having to go through this stuff. So this is an older game. It can use the sticks, but the sticks are terrible in this game. So I'm having to play with the D-pad on a PS1, and that's kind of maybe a little more awkward than it should be.
So basically the gimmick is that there's two halves of you, and based on which direction you're facing in, you shoot different things.
Yeah, so Silhouette and Mirage, it's going to explain it eventually, but Silhouette is one color and Mirage is the other.
Yep.
Red and blue are going to be consistently the enemy colors as well. And if it's not red and blue, it's hot and cold. Mm-hmm. So you'll get like hot colored enemies, and you know that's meant to be red.
Green tends to be the neutral color.
Yeah, well, there's a neutral color that is green or yellow, depending on where you are in the game. But that's kind of the general idea behind it. So if you hit things when you're the same color as them, you can take away their mana, which will limit their ability to do shots and stuff like that. But if you are... am I supposed to be crouching for this?
I think,
oh, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
It's just come up. Okay.
It just took him a second.
Yeah. So the idea is that you're supposed to hit things that are the opposite color of you. So if you're blue and you hit red, you kill an enemy. If you're red and you hit blue, you kill an enemy. But if you're red and you hit red, it drains their mana and makes them kind of useless in comparison because they don't have the mana enough to do shots anymore.
It's really not a tangible difference from what I've seen.
Well, you don't do any damage at all.
Yeah, but like it doesn't make them weak enough to make it worth doing.
It can under certain circumstances. The big thing that you're really supposed to work with, though, is like don't let yourself get hit. If you're red and something is hitting you that is also red, turn to blue and take life damage, because if you take mana damage, you lose a lot of your abilities. And a lot of the abilities that they're teaching me in this, just so that we're completely clear, I'm probably never going to use. They're going to be completely useless.
Well, you use the reflector.
Yeah. Is this one not gonna
Not
fire?
like that, you don't
Wait.
use it.
There. Usually the best way to beat these things is to get up in their face and reflector. Because that guarantees 100% of the time that you're going to knock the shots out.
So long as there's room to maneuver and get in there correctly.
Okay, this is one of the few abilities that I will be using constantly.
Because it gets you money, and I think that's cool.
And it's really, really good. Money is an amazing thing in this game, because enemies very rarely will drop things like mana or health, but they will drop money all the time, and you can use that to buy mana and health.
You can also, like, pick them up and take them to the side you need them to be on to shoot them. Which is useful, sometimes. Hey, is she holding him with her hair?
Yep, that's her hair.
Okay, yeah. Because it was a weird color to be her arm.
Yep. So she picks things up with her hair. I don't know if you noticed, but half of her is curly and half is straight.
Yeah. She's just completely split down the middle. One side's like an angel wing, the other's a demon. Like, even there's fur trim on only half of her hat in the cutscenes.
Yep.
It's really awkward looking.
I don't think it's that awkward. I actually really like the design for this character.
Her name?
They said her name yet?
Yes, her name is, they spell it S-H-Y-N-A, and it's that, it's either Shina or Sheena, and it's like Sheena Narashina. I've kind of settled on Sheena Narashina, so I think it's one and then the other. But I don't think it's ever, like, spoken verbally, like, actually in the voice acting.
This is a completely useless ability. Like, why wouldn't you just turn at that point? Why do you gotta do fancy things about it?
I don't know. I imagine that you get, like, certain... like you're dodging hit detection for a moment or something.
Okay, and this you will especially never see me do, ever. Like, period. This is garbage, and it eats your mana, like you would not believe.
It looks like it should be useful.
It takes, like, all of your mana just to do. Okay, so we're done with the tutorial. Credits dispensed, it gives me 100 money. And assault mode initialized, so it's telling me go out and beat things up. So to complete my mission successfully, I have to find Edo and use it to return the world to normal status.
And we don't really know what normal status is for this world. We haven't been outside this room yet, and we have amnesia. So it's like, what is the current status of the world, and how is it not normal? Also,
there's shit breaking into wherever we are, and we need to leave immediately.
Yep.
So, infiltration by who? What's going on in here? So, after the accident, genetic mutations divided the world's inhabitants into two classes, Silhouette and Mirage.
And what accident? We don't know. And also, genetic mutation is a weird one because, like, everything we fight seems to be like a robot.
Until Edo is found and repaired, these mutations are to be considered dangerous and perverse enemies.
Yep. Everything wants to kill us.
Yeah, everything wants to kill us. And the accident, if that's what caused all this, it must have been some boom. I hope my path becomes clear once I make it to the Edo thing. So...
I like this particular talk image of her.
I like that they have talk images for her. I think that was in the Saturn version too. But it's like, it's really nice to see some of these images because this has got a very specific style to it that's not like what Treasure normally does.
It's a very, like, they kind of cultivated a style with this. It's very weird. You don't see it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just so weird looking, like, just in general. Like, you're not going to see a lot of humanoids that look like her. Not quite. She's just kind of like a Powerpuff Girl amongst normal people.
A little bit. I mean, most of the characters, though, in all fairness, don't really have a general, like, style that I would call normal people. No, like, there's human-ish looking guys, and they tend to have, like, really big noses. I don't even think those are really... They look more like lizards than anything.
I had
most
questioned
of the human
that a while, too. There she is. Look, she's very Powerpuffy, I think.
I could see that as being kind of Powerpuffy.
Like, she looks like a doll, and then the people you'll meet are either, like, lizards, or ambiguously lizards, or just straight up, like, you can tell that's a monster.
Yeah, and, like, there are two main enemies that you're going to see an awful lot of in this game, and that's these dolls, and then in the next level we will be introduced to them, but we saw them in the tutorial.
Yeah,
it's these dolls and the weird pumpkin-headed guys.
And these are robots?
If you beat them up, their faces fall off, and they have, like, scream masks for faces that are made of metal. So the implication is that they might be robots.
I like the pixel work on this, by the way. Just in general of the game, but also, like, these little, like, craters on the side of our shelter.
Yeah, no,
like, I don't know. They look pretty good.
I absolutely adore the pixel work in this game. It is so gorgeous. Look at that. Did you see the shift in perspective, too?
I think that's a polygon with, like, pixels for the rails.
It probably is. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just got a nice texture to it, but that weird little shift wasn't really a pixel thing. Still good though. I love low poly. Yeah, there we go. It's totally a brick.
No, it might have been pixel. I'm not 100% sure.
Pretty sure it was a polygon.
I don't know. So we've got this gaggle of dolls, and because we've got so much in the way of like shit going on in the background, the implication would be we're under siege.
Yep.
We're being attacked. So now I get to walk through this war-torn wasteland. So I gotta go through one more of these. So these are Mirage. So if it's red, it's Mirage.
Because they're like daytime and you see mirages in the light?
So the idea is if you see Mirage, use a silhouette shot, which is if you see red, use blue. Or reflect their shots back at them.
love, a hope, faith, and belief. I stumble on